really touches into that sort of war zone aspect of what happens to a woman, what can happen to a woman's body and her vulnerability during a time when the rules are gone. And I think that really touches into that sort of war zone element that makes the show, the TV show, sorry, I'm coming from theater right now, that makes the TV show so powerful, is that it is who do you become and who does a woman become and what does she have to endure? And so I love that scene too.
Andy, what scene are you? What really steps out for you?
I kind of love all of the scenes. It's difficult because I don't watch the show, so it's quite hard for me to.
Oh, that's right.
To talk about those scenes because I haven't watched them. Although I did watch you do the.
Wait, you don't watch the show?
I should explain because we talked about this on Talking Dead. It's that.
I like Girls. Have you seen the show Girls?
Oh, the show Girls. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said the show Girls. Then.
I love Girls.
I like girls.
Girls are nice.
Yeah. You two be cuddling, but I like girls.
Girls are pretty. It's just the idea that you don't want your performance kind of affected by your perception of your performance, so you don't watch your performance on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is a really is an interest. It's a good.
It's yeah. That's it.
I just didn't want I didn't want people to be like Andrew Lincoln doesn't even like the show. Like no, it's not.
I
what
love
it's
the
about
show.
at all.
I love
Yeah.
the show. And I love reading every script that comes out, and I love the story of these characters. But I just don't enjoy watching myself.
It's hard. It's hard to watch yourself without judging, and you don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like a spell. It's kind of you do a spell, and I just don't want to get involved in it.
But whatever you're doing is working. So you didn't ask, but you have my golf clap. That sounded like a place we should be putting our hands together. That was an Oprah moment. You're getting a car, and you're getting a car. This is from John. First off, can I just say that Michonne is my favorite new character right next to Tyrese? My question is for everybody, if there is one character that you could resurrect from the dead in the show, who would it be? For me, it'd be Morgan, if he is actually dead, or Jim, if he is alive. The end. So let's start with you this time, Stephen. If there's a character you could bring back, who would it be?
Damon.
Jeff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But I want to be diplomatic. All of them, I love all of them. But for me, hands down, Jeff is like. God.
That would be Dale.
That would be
Dale. Yeah, Dale. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Jeff Damon, Dale.
He just has a way of teaching you something just with the look. He's just such a wise and.
Yeah, I mean, also like even from a character standpoint and from a personal standpoint, like that's Glenn Sage. And I remember when we were doing the first season and the second season, we lived in the same areas. So I was like a fly on the wall for every Jeff Damon wise saying that he would put out. I'd be, oh, I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down. And I remember doing that scene with Lori at the RV the second season, and in my head I was like, oh, I hope I can really get to that place to feel that emotion that Dale's gone. I never have an easy time acting, but that one was easy because
It was.
yeah,
easy.
it just flowed.
We literally had to show up. I don't mean to say that in a strange way, but we had so much love for the actor and for the character that all we had to do was look at the RV, and he was, he was your Sage, and he was the man that taught me the most. And we just kind of breathed, and it was like, oh, we're honoring Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was really he was really kind of the moral compass of the group for a while when all this stuff was that, that Rick and Shane are going off in these different directions, and no one could find Carl, and so he was the one sort of acting as the glue to try to pull everyone back together. We got to be this. We can't do too much of this. And then so when that goes away, who do you think is the moral compass of the group now?
Well, what was fascinating about that episode where he has that big speech in front of the whole group. That was a 9 or 10 page scene. We had one day to shoot that scene. And originally it was supposed to take place outside or on the campfire. We moved it inside because of weather. And just every single, we spent the day covering, and every single time Jeff's performance was spot on. I mean, the tears in his eyes. Every time I would say cut, everyone in the room was just mesmerized by everything that he said. And one of the things that I found tremendously fascinating, because that was the first episode that I had directed, there's a scene with Andrea and Dale in the RV, and we were rehearsing it, and they both were sitting in the RV, and I was sitting in the driver's seat watching the rehearsal. And it was one of the few times I literally felt like I had been transported into the RV and was watching Dale and Andrea talk. I wasn't watching actors, I was watching these two characters. And it was the most amazing experience. It was the last scene that we shot with Jeff that day. Yeah. And it was so sad because he really was such a fantastic presence on set. And to be able to be watching him and Laurie performing and me not looking at them as actors but looking at them as those characters. And I remember sort of turning around and going, did we film that? It was just the first rehearsal. We hadn't even had the cameras in yet. Yeah. But it was just, he and all of our actors bring that. I mean, Melissa McBride and Michael Rooker and Scott Wilson, who aren't here tonight, but everybody brings that same devotion. And it's hard because when those actors leave, it really, when Bernthal came down to shoot just that one scene for episode 8, it was like, we didn't want him to leave, and he didn't want to leave. They show up, and it's hard. It's really hard.
What's the process when you, maybe this is for Gail and Robert too, when you decide like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and have to kill a character. It's just an important way to spin the story. What is that process, and how hard is that process?
It's not fun, I will say. I mean, coming from working on the comic for so long, it's just a bunch of lines on a piece of paper. So it's like, oh, that person's dead. Okay, moving on. And that's really easy, and I enjoy it. But
you don't have to see the comic book characters at craft.
Yeah, I don't have to really sorry about that. I mean, it's something that we put a tremendous amount of effort into in the writers' room to make sure that it is the right decision and that it does serve the story and that it is the right move because there's a lot of weight to it and it's very difficult.
I mean, the toughest part of all is making the phone call.
Do you have to do?
Which I do not do.
Okay.
I've had to do it once. No one wanted to call Sophia's family, the girl who came out of the barn, Madison Lentz, to say, and it had been tough because she started this season, the second season, saying, I'm so excited. I really want to be an actor. I've decided because the first season she wasn't sure as there's Madison Lentz, the actress.
Yeah.
And then we're going.
And then you're like, we're about to ruin that.
It was, yeah.
And so,
Happy birthday!
so I
There's other stuff you could do, right? But she was so amazing,
Yes.
and that scene in particular was, because I didn't see it coming. I thought, oh, it's television, they'll find her. And
Well, we did find her.
You know better now.
yes, now I know better. But when that happened, I kind of I jumped off my couch, and then there was a lot of swearing because it really was. I mean, you what was that scene like for you?
Well, I thought John Bernthal was just magnificent in the whole lead up to that, and this frenzied side, a kind of wild man turned up on set, and it was surreal, like most of those moments, and it was demoralizing. It was heart-wrenching as well, and I think so many things shattered for the group. I think hope, certainly for Rick, it was a pivotal point in him and his change to move much more towards Shane's pragmatism rather than the sort of humanity. I think a lot of things broke in that moment.
And I think, I also think it's important to point out Melissa McBride has been phenomenal because, Carol's character, you just sort of think of as like, she was in this abusive relationship, she's, whatever, how strong of a character can she be? And she's been like a rock.
I'm telling you, the first time I came to the camp in season 1 in episode 3, and there's a sort of a camera shot, a steady cam that follows me through my first morning, and she'd washed my clothes, and she says one thing to me, She just says, and it was like 2 words. And I went, and John was there, and I went, who the fuck is that? Because it was just like, I've never seen anything like it. I was like, she's just real. You know what I mean? It was just breathtaking. And Ed as well, who played the husband.
Yeah.
Just wild. I mean, but Melissa, I think in the back 8 has got the line of the series. She has a scene with Mike Rooker, and she said,
bang, you're right.
It's just
awesome.
the great. I know I'm not.
What's the line? What is it?
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
He's
say
not
it.
going to tell
I
them.
explode.
How does it
Cher
end?
explodes.
It's not to give too much away, but it's right after they find the cure, and then. Oh no!
Super Walmart. Or whatever.
Super Target.
Target.
Come on,
Target,
man.
actually.
Right?
But she really.
She's amazing.
She's amazing, and maybe I'm reading into this. I always feel like there's almost something between Daryl and Carol.
Oh, there's a lot. It's just not that yet. You know what I'm saying?
Officer?
I've been very lucky that I've had a lot of scenes with Melissa, and she's so good. She's really, and I started off my relationship with her in the 3rd episode of the 1st season when she takes the pickaxe and hits her husband in the head with it. And I kept telling the special effects guys, I'm like, put more junk on the axe, make it bloodier. So every take, it was worse. And she just, at the end, it was like, just took it from me. And we started this little friendship like that. But, I mean, the thing about...
We're not weird.
go, that's how they're built. But,
That's what you bond over.
yeah, right? But I like the fact that it's these 2 damaged people that gravitate towards each other for that reason. If there's a little kissy thing to come, like, I want to play that like I have no game at all. Like, I want her to make the move, and I just kind of want to just whimper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so. What are you doing to me?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so weird.
But you know, it's interesting because Sarah's Lori, his wife. I started off like really eyeballing her, like not like that, but eyeballing her like, what's that about? Like I thought that was going to turn into a story.